And so what you think of as material physical reality, this is just a very, very coherent, well-woven together collection of figments of consciousness. And you're mistaking its coherence and its consistency, its internal consistency, you're mistaking that for materiality or for truthfulness or for what you call reality. And as soon as that consistency starts to unravel, you think you're losing your mind and you are terrified, you scramble to get it back together again, to be coherent. And if you're unable to do that, then the rest of society and your children and your parents and your spouse and all your friends, we will all tell you that you've lost your mind and that you're sick, and eventually we'll lock you in a room or inject you with medication. Why? Because for us to maintain our dream of coherence, we need to make sure that there aren't crazy people running around who are questioning material reality. Because if too many people start doing that, then eventually we'll realize that, shit, maybe this is not as material as I thought this was. Maybe I'm in a dream. Maybe I'm not as sane as I thought I was. Maybe what I call sanity is just a very narrow spectrum of the full range of what consciousness is capable of. And I only call things sane, which are within my comfort zone of what I'm comfortable with being conscious of. And the stuff that I'm not comfortable being conscious of, that stuff is so insane I don't even want to look at it. So here's the next mindfuck. States and figments of consciousness are not merely personal experiences happening inside of a brain, a body, a physical universe, or a computer. Figments of consciousness are absolute. Absolute. Again, this is not something you're going to understand until you awaken, because until you awaken or have at least one awakening, you don't have any reference point for what absolute is. But what I'm saying is that red is absolutely red. Mickey Mouse is absolutely Mickey Mouse. Evil is absolutely evil. That's what it is. Every quality of consciousness, every figment of consciousness is exactly itself. It's self-identical, making it absolute. So when you're seeing the color red or Mickey Mouse, that's not merely, as philosophers of mind would say, some sort of qualia or some sort of perception underneath which there's the real reality. No, no, no. That is absolute reality. Mickey Mouse is absolute reality. Everything is absolute reality. There's nothing that isn't absolute reality. Reality is absolute. Whatever quality it takes, whatever figment is arising in your consciousness right now is absolute reality. Brain is a figment of consciousness. Physical universe is a figment of consciousness. Atoms are a figment of consciousness. Science is a figment of consciousness. History is a figment of consciousness. Computation is a figment of consciousness, and you're trying to use all of these and more figments of consciousness to somehow ground absolute, the absolute, and relativize it. And turn it into something like a field of perceptions that you, a biological creature who is made out of matter sitting on a planet Earth is having, situated somewhere in history, in the history of the universe. So to really awaken, what you have to do is you have to cut all of these figments. You know, these figments are all tightly woven together. Almost think of it like a sweater knitted out of yarn. And really, it's just one long strand of yarn making up this whole sweater. But it's the way it's knitted, it seems like it's more than that. And the yarn is like, you know, it's tight like this. So when you pull on it, it seems kind of like it's just one solid object when you're pulling on it, pretty much. You know, you can flex it a little bit here and there. It's flexible, but you can't really pull it apart. And so the process of awakening, to really fully awaken, to understand what consciousness is and what reality is, you're going to have to unravel this whole yarn, and you're going to have to realize that the whole yarn, the whole sweater is just made out of one chunk of yarn. And you're going to have to untangle all of it to realize that that's what a sweater is. It's just one long piece of yarn. Another way to explain reality is to call it mind. I call it mind with a capital M, infinite mind. Now, what is the difference between whether we call it mind or whether we call it material? Well, here's the key differences. A mind, unlike material, a mind is fluid and it can work holistically top down. Material has to be made of little simple elements and it has to work bottom up. Because of this kind of bottom-up approach, material actually can't be intelligent. Mind, since it works top-down, it actually can have sentience and intelligence. This is the key difference between materialism and what I'm describing here. You could call it idealism, I guess. Mind. Materialism can't have intelligence. You might say, oh, Leo, but yeah, material can have intelligence. You can have a brain with neurons, neural networks, and that creates intelligence. No. Intelligence has to be top-down. It can't be bottom-up. So all the bottom-up explanations of intelligence, they don't work. I can't explain to you why, because you'd have to awaken to understand that. You'd have to actually awaken to absolute intelligence, to what intelligence is. You're not conscious of what intelligence is. Therefore, I can't explain it to you. And the reason I can't explain it to you is because the only way you can understand what intelligence is to be top-down, conscious, and intelligent. And right now, you simply lack the intelligence to understand what intelligence is. You lack the consciousness. And that's because you're trying to understand intelligence from the bottom up by dissecting it into little, reductionistic pieces like neural networks and molecules and neurons and atoms and computation, information flow. No, none of that is intelligence. Intelligence is an absolute and has to be understood from the top down. So, the only reason you are intelligent, to whatever degree you are, there's many degrees of intelligence, but the only reason you have intelligence at all is because you're a mind. You're not matter. You're mind. That's why you're intelligent, if you are intelligent. And see, intelligence can reduce itself from the top down. It can't build itself really from the bottom up. It has to reduce itself from the top down. So what you have from the highest level is you have infinite intelligence, and that intelligence can dumb itself down infinitely low to turn itself into something dumb like a doorknob. So a doorknob, it's not that in something highly intelligent is built up of simple dumb objects like doorknobs or neurons or nodes in a neural network. No, it's the opposite. It works the opposite way. It's that you have infinite intelligence, which dumbs itself down, puts itself to sleep, reduces its consciousness until it reaches the level of a neuron or a doorknob, and then it looks dumb. So the dumbness of material objects is actually an illusion, because your entire field of consciousness is actually infinitely intelligent, but it's acting dumb because it's trying to construct a finite life. And it's also trying to maintain your sanity in the same process.